10 minutes.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
On a milk carton. Like, have you seen this guy? No. Maybe it could be worse, man. So, like, see myself in jail. No. Hopefully, still doing this at the rate I'm still going now. I mean, I'm actually pretty much wrestling every weekend for all the federations I work for. I think as of right now, my next weekend off is Memorial Day, which is like 2 months from now. I think last year I actually wrestled 48 different shows last year.
Describe what type of wrestler are you?
More of a mainly grappling, submission. I mean, I do a little bit of high fly, not much. But yeah, more submission and ground. I'm more on the ground than anything else.
Have you won any titles in your career other than the tag team champions?
Tag team titles twice. Just tonight with Sean Cannon, and my last title reign was with Drolix, formerly of the Hit Squad, who is now wrestling with Black Wall Street, doing great things there. I currently hold the WWA High Impact title, which I'm defending next week, and I am a former SWO Cruiserweight champion, and that's my title history so far.
Is there any federations where you still portray a face?
Right now, people surprisingly people still like me in WWA. EWA, obviously, SWO, and the other feds, not so much.
If you had any advice for someone pursuing a wrestling career, what would they be?
Don't. Let me rephrase that. If you're it's pro wrestling is something that requires 100% of your attention. I mean, if you're not going to give it everything you got, don't waste your time or ours. EWA does free tryouts at the training facility. I mean, it kind of gives them a gut check as to whether or not it's something you really want to do. I mean, as a student in pro wrestling, especially for shows, it's an all-day ordeal. I'm saying for at least the last 4 years, me and Sean have actually been like the first ones here and the last one's gone, and it's like an entire day ordeal. Yeah, there are some shows like do shows on Sunday, be at the training facility at 11 o'clock, load up the ring, bring it to the show, set up, do the show, tear down, put everything back to the school, and be done at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I have to get up at 4:30 to go to work Monday morning. So it requires a lot of your attention, and it's something you have to give 1,000,000%.
What are the pros and cons of being a pro wrestler?
The physical cons, the physical toll of your body. Pros, it's something. It's the fact that they're doing something we just don't do. I mean, most wrestlers don't really. Most wrestlers don't rely this as they don't rely on pro wrestling to live on. So a lot of guys have regular 9 to 5 jobs during the week, then wrestle on the weekends.
What are your hobbies other than pro wrestling?
It's kind of hard to answer that because I really don't have a lot of time off between working the daytime job and doing wrestling on the weekends. So if I have any time at all, it'd be pretty much catching up on my DVR, which is 90% wrestling, and maybe CSI here and there.
So you do have a daytime job. Do you mind if you tell us what kind of work you do?
I can't tell you that. I tell you that I have one of those. I can tell you that I have daytime jobs. So I'm afraid I can't tell you what I do.
Do you follow any other sports other than pro wrestling?
Usually football, not to the extent of wrestling, but I do try to keep an eye on the Baltimore Ravens. Basketball, baseball, not so much.
Who's your favorite college basketball team?
I don't really watch much college ball. I mean, granted, living in Maryland, I do like the Maryland Terps, and I got family in West Virginia, so definitely West Virginia Mountaineers.
This concludes the interview with Chris Burns. Once again, I'm Jason Neville. Check me out on YouTube, Indie Wrestling Fan, under Indie Wrestling Q&A.